Kia ora, hello, and welcome to Anyway, the podcast where I unpack the chaos of reality TV. I am your host, Natalie McMurray, coming to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand. And this week on the Summer House, there was no whimsy, no Lorax running around doing bum stretches in our face, just darkness. And unfortunately, not the kind that believes in a thing called love. Anyway, let's discuss Summer House episode 15. We're back with Kyle and Carl beepity beep beep beeping at each other. Amanda still seems to have a weird smirky look on her face. Kyle insults Carl by saying, "Fuck off, you 6'5" motherfucker." I'm not sure throwing his impressive height in his face is hitting the way that Carl would like. Everyone runs out to break up the fight. Amanda says, "What's happening?" to West. And West responds, "They're fighting, but just let them go." Let them go? As in, let two of your supposed friends physically harm each other? Okay. I wish that Kyle and Carl were channeling their rage towards West in this moment. That blonde worm with a mustache wouldn't stand a chance. Amanda is trying to calm Kyle down. West approaches them and grabs Amanda in such a weird, intimate way and puts his hair into her face. What the hell is he doing? Smelling her hair while everyone around him is distraught? So fucking weird. Anyway, Kyle calls Carl a Vagisil, which is hilarious. But I have no idea what he means by that. Does Carl offer a range of over-the-counter intimate care products designed to provide fast relief from itching, burning, and dryness? I guess calling a man anything to do with a woman's vagina is insulting. Misogyny at its finest. Meanwhile, inside, Lindsay is trying to calm down Carl. And I have to say that I'm loving all of the recent social media content that I've been getting of Lindsay and Carl rekindling their friendship. I actually love to see it. Carl said on Watch What Happens Live that Lindsay has a calming force over him, which is sweet. Outside, the women are done with this male BS. They head back into the house. Kyle says everyone can suck his dick, which literally no one in that house wants to do. Sorry, Kyle. I bet he's found plenty of women that want to post-divorce, though. Jesse points out the obvious by saying there's unresolved issues. KJ is appalled. Apparently, he's also over this male BS. They also head back in. Kyle is still ranting and raving outside, and he says something about forgetting his dad's birthday last week, which triggers a memory from my rewatch of season 7 of Summer House, when Craig gets upset with Paige for not noticing he was upset about forgetting his mother's birthday. I don't know what it is about these men forgetting their own parents' birthdays, but the way that they will take this shit out on anybody else but themselves is truly wild. Anyway, Wes says, "You're not even mad at Carl. You're mad at Lindsay, to be honest." I wish someone would stuff a sweaty, wet sock into West's mouth. I don't know if you guys know this, but Lindsay was the one that pitched West to be on the show that he's on now, screwing every fucking woman over in sight. Give it a rest, West. Make a new plan, Stan. No need to be coy, Roy. Just listen to me. Sorry to bring Paul Simon into this. Perhaps somebody should tell Amanda that there's 50 ways to leave your lover. Amanda is correct. Kyle should be able to have a grown-ass conversation about partnership without crashing the fuck out. Outside, Carl is shading Kyle's DJ career, quote unquote. He says he doesn't even make his own music. I love sassy Carl. Turns out I'm not the only one that loves sassy Carl. Bailey's basement is flooded. She's attracted to a hot and bothered Carl. She should have seen him when he was cocaine Carl. That would have really got her going. Upstairs, Ben and Kyle are having kind of a weird hug. Although I actually think it's nice that Ben is trying to be there for Kyle in this moment. He truly does seem to be losing it. He's having a full minty bee. Downstairs, Amanda and West are having a weird kind of hug themselves. And Amanda is absolutely jizzing her pants at the thought of West pulling his chair over to her. Also, speaking of how creepy West is, I assume everyone has heard the rumor that West and Jen Fessler hooked up. The way that a thirsty fucking housewife will insert herself into some 30-year-old's drama, what is she thinking? Please mind your business. Anywho, Kyle comes into Carl's room to squash the beef. They talk it out and apologize to each other. Kyle says to Kyle, "Saying fuck you to your wife is entirely inappropriate." And Kyle responds with, "Because I'm out here taking bullets and she's eating it all up." And that's the thing. She literally had a shit-eating grin on her face. We all saw it. Clearly, cussing out your spouse is not the vibe, and never okay. but she appeared to be loving every second of other people laying into Kyle. Amanda is in Ciara's bed, along with Ciara and Mia. I wish she was in the trash heap on the floor that KJ was tripping over earlier in the night. Kyle is still spiraling in Kyle's room, and he's been a fucking mess all summer long. He says, I'm just trying to keep a happy face, which he's not doing a good job of. The only happy face I remember from Kyle was when he was flying around on the ski bolt thing on boat day. Free as a bird, sans Amanda. That was true happiness for him. Being stuck in this house with his mopey-ass wife is draining his life source. Which is bizarre because he looks fresh as a fucking daisy. Kyle wants Amanda to have his back. He's reminding me of Katie Maloney in seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 of Vanderpump Rules. All she ever wanted was for Schwartz to support her and have her back. She literally never got it. Such a bummer. Everyone is getting ready to go out. West is in his bedroom making his hair look even more fucked up than it usually does. He says, I look like a lesbian tonight. And all I can think is, you fucking wish, West. You wish you looked like a lesbian. You look like a goddamn asshole. We then see Amanda coming into her and Kyle's room. And she's all, oh, so you're just gonna leave and go out without even saying anything to me? Excuse you? He just came into the room where you are and tried to talk. You acted awkward as fuck, so he left. Revisionist history. They all go out and then they all come home. We hear a sound that can only be described as a UFO hovering over an unsuspecting cow about to beam it up to undertake some weird-ass experiments for God knows what reason. Turns out, it's just the noise an electric car makes while reversing, so no one gets run over. Smart. The summer house front door is broken again, and all has been restored in the world. Ciara walks into the kitchen, and Kyle is standing there in his undies, holding his crutch motionless, looking like he came straight from the Blair Witch's house. What on earth is this man doing? Perhaps he needs to be beamed up and experimented on. Jesse asks Kyle where he's going to sleep. Kyle says to West, imagine if Jesse was like, yo, I'm trying to sleep with your wife. West turns white as a ghost. Just kidding. He was still beet red. But you think if he had any conscience, he would have reacted. The next morning, we see the date Chiron pop up, and it says Sunday, August 31st. 31st. 30. Oh my God. 31st is like impossible to say. It says 31TH. Did I just say H? I meant TH. These editors really need a break, you guys. They're working overtime. Upstairs, Wes says to Jesse, imagine being a snake. And I'm wondering why it's so hard for him to imagine, because everyone out here already definitely thinks you are one, West. West then says, I wonder how Amanda is doing. Cut to a deflated Amanda on the couch downstairs with Lindsay. Now all I can think about is that meme of her on the couch outside. Everyone then congregates to get the debrief on Ciara's après-ski dream party. She's drill sergeanting the fuck out of this party prep. Jesse tries to bail, but with height like that, there's no way you're getting out decorating. Out of all these people, Ciara really does throw the best parties. KJ and Mia are sitting by the pool talking about the holidays. Mia says she used to go back to Chicago, but since her mum has passed, she's not going to do that. KJ says, if you're around, my mum will be in town, which is so cute. I can't even stand it. Also, KJ posted on Instagram that his mum and Mia's sister were college roommates, which is crazy. Love that for them. Lindsay is in West and Jesse's room talking to them about how Ciara and West have made up. We cut to a confessional of West blabbing on about how he feels, which I don't give a shit about. But I could have sworn that I saw flies buzzing around his head. Did anyone else notice that? Or am I going crazy? Did the editors add in flies just to be funny? I rewound and there are definitely flies. Or bugs, at least. This man is a walking pile of garbage. Literally. Everyone is getting ready for the party. Amanda is dressed as Stay Puffed? The Marshmallow Man? I have no idea. Everyone else is dressed as cute snow bunnies, so I guess she really missed the memo. West's outfit is taking me straight back to the 90s. It's reminding me of what my husband calls his about the house pants. On anyone else, I'd appreciate it. But with him, I just can't. Especially while he's hitting on Dara in the same vicinity as KJ. Stick your dick back in your about the house pants, West. Jesus, yuck. Ciara and Jesse are having a chat about their trio friendship with West. Ciara says she enjoys flirting with West, and Jesse says he doesn't want things to get weird again. Dun dun dun! Well, next week is the season finale. And then we have the reunion. Still fun stuff. Anyway, moving on. This week, I'm switching the lovely ladies of London for the whimsical women of Rhode Island. Let's discuss Real Housewives of Rhode Island, episode 7. We open with Alicia scolding one of her dolls for giving her the cockeye about the rooming situation. She says, "Don't look at me like that. You picked this room." Ashley's barista husband has more important things to do than go to a Jonas Brothers concert with her on Saturday. He has mochachinos to make. What kind of grown-ass woman goes to a Jonas Brothers concert? Probably a lot of them, I guess. I've never been a Jonas Brothers person. At breakfast, Ashley yells, "I love buffets," which tracks because the Disney Channel is the buffet breakfast of the music world. You know it's true. Rosie was throwing up all night, and the women are speculating why. They start talking about ghosts and hearing giggling at 3 a.m. And I think, oh shit, Rosie has been possessed by a demon. Alicia is wondering why she's living in some version of Toy Story, and wants to know if the giggling Rosie heard was coming from the dolls of the mansion. It's a sweet dream or a beautiful nightmare for Alicia. Speaking of, Liz starts talking about the Rosie Kelsey situation, and Alicia brings up Beyoncé and her alter ego, Sasha Fierce. I now feel like I'm on the same wavelength as Alicia, and am considering buying a cohort of dolls to consult on a daily basis. Ashley cries at breakfast because she feels bad for Rosie and wants her to be able to express herself. Ashley's tears come so easily to her. Maybe she should be an actress. Surely she can find some benefit to those free-flowing tears. Alicia thinks the spirits of the mansion are fucking with the ladies, and that there's Caspers and witches up in there. She tries to say ghosts, and the producers say it's plural. There's an S at the end. But it just keeps coming out as ghost. Ghost? Ghost. Ghost. She can't do it. Kelsey wants Rosie to know that she suffers from RBF. And as I said previously, I suffer from the same affliction. Pretty much everyone thinks you're a cunt when you have resting bitch face, which honestly can be a blessing and a curse. If Ashley isn't crying, she's acting like an absolute clown. During Kelsey and Rosie's conversation, Ashley is hiding around the corner listening, gesturing to the gods. She then jumps out and is all, "Shall we bring our dolls to the water slide?" I've never seen a giant multicolored inflatable water slide look more at home than next to a 19th century Gilded Age Newport mansion. Alicia and Joellen are heading out for a girls' day, and their driver apparently used to live on the top floor of the mansion, which is pretty questionable. Anyway, he wants them to know that a nun hung herself up there, which conjures up images of the movie The Nun for me, which I hate. It scared the absolute shit out of me. Not Alicia, though. She's more afraid of dirty bed sheets than a ghost. We discover that the cure to Rosie's nausea is water slides. Joellen and Alicia go on a very picturesque walk, and Joellen tells Alicia about her experiences of the place that her mum had sent her as a teenager. She says, "I didn't do drugs. I was a straight-A student." Her mum's problem with her was apparently that she had big boobs and thought she was promiscuous, even though she wasn't. She says that the third place she went was for a year, in ninth grade, so I guess that would make her 14. She tells us that she was there with people who were predators and self-harmed. She became suicidal and says, "It hurts a lot to have no one that loves you growing up." My heart really breaks for Joellen. I honestly couldn't even imagine sending my kid to such a fucking horrible place. Alicia also talks about her childhood and how hard it was growing up without her father. After all that emotion, Alicia needs some crackers. Joellen needs champagne. On their way back to the mansion, Ruler messages Alicia to say that she's too sick to come to Newport. Cut to her in her deathbed, according to her. She gets the results back from the doctor and nada. She has an affliction that cannot be pinpointed nor categorized. Kelsey and Rosie are bonding over Boris, the seemingly Russian waiter of the mansion. They convince him to slip and slide, and he's pretty ripped. Liz wants no part of the 23-year-old butler. Later that day, the women head on their boat ride, and Ashley gets a text from her dad that her parents are taking her kid to the emergency room. She's prepared to jump ship and swim to the shore to get her ass home, as any parent would. Much like Tiffany New York Pollard and her sardines on House of Villains, I'm starting to become concerned about Alicia only eating crackers. We're going to need more nutrients. Back at the mansion, Alicia is using Alexa's powers for good. She's asking, Alexa, why is there a beetle in my room? Seemingly, Alexa does not answer, so she uses one of the dolls to kick the beetle out. If the dolls weren't haunting her before, they will be now. Cut to Rosie in her room. She does a burp that only confirms my suspicions that there's a demon living inside of her. The noise that came out of her mouth was straight from The Exorcist. Jo Ellen is on the balcony, and Liz joins her. Jo Ellen feels like shit. Someone has sent her indisputable evidence of Ruler's husband cheating on her. She shows the other ladies, and they're all aghast. Brian, Ruler's husband, is all over some blonde. Jo Ellen wants Alicia to be the bearer of the bad news. Given how Ruler reacted to the previous news, there's no way I'd be doing it. And the ladies are all, not it, which concludes the episode. From Rhode Island to Punta Cana we go, with Southern Hospitality, episode 11. Michael's TJ Lake, Maddie and Joe are on their way back from the church. Michaels feels relief and at peace. We then see everyone getting ready for dinner. And Maddie is putting on starfish earrings. As I said last week, these are everywhere on reality TV recently. Am I missing something? Or do people just really love starfish? Do they mean something? Are they made by a famous designer? I must know. Anyway, vamos. Off to dinner they go. Joe Bradley gives a toast to Maddie for her show, and also to everyone else for being there. Michaels tells everyone about the church experience, and Emmy cannot contain her emotions. They're written all over her face. She says, I woke up and you were all gone. Michaels basically says, you weren't invited, because she doesn't hear him. He says he wore a sand-colored shirt to dinner because Emmy walks all over him. Michaels tells Emmy that she doesn't listen to anyone, and that saying Brad stalked and threatened her is a reach. Julia wants to know if Emmy has considered an apology. Emmy, as per usual, is in a state of confusion. I'm starting to think that not only does she have Ritalin and Valium in that stupid tiny bag, but she also has forget-me-nows. The pills that Joe perpetually uses on Arrested Development, aka roofies. Emmy has been roofing herself so she will forget the embarrassing and shameful events she's placed herself in, which has led to a roofie circle of repeated memory loss. Once again, everyone is trying to explain to Emmy what damage she is doing. She will literally never get it, and I am so sick of watching her flail around and be a victim. She's giving a generic I'm sorry to Brad. She has no idea what she's sorry for. Brad's hoping to coexist, and that's it. Michael says to Emmy that she lacks self-awareness, which is an understatement. And Emmy goes into full Emmy mode. She's making the fucking weirdest noises ever. Honestly, she's reminding me of Meg Ryan and When Harry Met Sally. I can't tell if she's traumatized or about to come. She is so gross. There are like 16 people around this table, and not one of them is buying what Emmy is selling. They've all seen the theatrics before. Mia and Julia are getting the fucking giggles. Dinner theatre at its finest. We learn that Emmy has not invested in waterproof mascara. And then, what do we have here? A tiny, adorable little ginger cat. It meows and Maddie starts freaking the fuck out. We then get the horror movie music and Maddie is prepared to run. She tells us she's phobic to cats. She says especially street cats doing God knows what. That sweet little Ginge is doing nothing but minding its own damn business. That's actually not true. It's tiny and skinny. It's probably trying to look for food. I mean, hello, you're around a dinner table. I have a ginger cat that is literally the friendliest, sweetest cat that you could ever meet. So I guess I'm a bit biased. Joe Bradley goes to shoo away the cat, and Justin says it's one of those orange ones too. They're fucked up. How absolutely dare you, sir? Besmirching a sweet little cat's name? I won't take this ginger slander. Anyway, apparently Michaels has publicly humiliated Emmy. Nope, you did that all on your own. Joe pulls Emmy for a chat, and she walks away from the table full panic attack. A scene which I've seen more times than I care to. I did wonder to myself why Joe decided to pull Emmy away from the table to talk to her, but that soon becomes clear. He wants Emmy to not ruin Maddie's gig and go back to the hotel. Good for you, Joe. They all head off to the gig. which is actually at their hotel. So turns out Emmy will be in attendance. For about 2 seconds, and then she's all, fuck this shit, I'm out. Molly follows Emmy out. Molly sympathizes with Emmy because she too has been yelled at by Michaels. Emmy then proceeds to stir shit between Molly and Michaels, even though I thought they were past that. I guess they're aligning because of a common enemy, but Molly is definitely on the wrong side of history here. Back in Charleston, we see everyone at work at Republic. And the way that Joe Bradley remembers to tie a tie is so confusing to me. He's showing TJ and he says something along the lines of, the mouse goes around the tree twice, comes back around the tree anti-clockwise, goes up a hill to fetch a pail of water, comes back down the hill, goes wee, wee, wee all around the tree a couple more times, and then down a fucking hole. You could either do that, or you could throw the tie in the bin, where it belongs. We see Lake going on a date with her twin, Jonessa. Lake says that her dad thinks that she dates women just for the shock value. She's identifying as queer, and she doesn't give a shit who knows it. Respect. We then move over to Zach Stacks, where Grace Lilly is reading tarot cards for people. And also, Ali Bally is doing a gig there. So Maddie and Joe Bradley have shown up to support. Joe Bradley feels awkward by Grace Lilly's presence. But Grace wants to extend all of the olive branches. She says hi to Joe and Maddie. She pulls Maddie outside for a chat. She tells Maddie that she misses her and apologizes. Grace is telling Maddie that she's getting help and is sober, but Maddie is dubious. Grace then starts getting defensive, which retracts a few of the so-called olive branches she's trying to extend. They're now arguing back and forth, and something about how Maddie was watching the Osbournes, and it was the week that Ozzy Osbourne passed. That's where the episode ends. Clearly, Maddie is correct in this circumstance because sadly, Grace has had 2 DUIs since filming the season. I really hope she gets better. I genuinely think that Grace Lilly is a star. She needs to get her sparkle back. Speaking of sparkles, let's move on to the Valley episode 7. We're still at the amusement park, and the people are all heading to dinner down the boardwalk. Schwartz gives Danny a piggyback ride. And I just want to scream, this man does not need to be carried any more than he already is. Kristen still feels like absolute shit because she's still bleeding profusely and wearing adult diapers. Luke is getting upset with her, I guess because he doesn't have any empathy. Like, you don't have to be in her body to relate. Everyone starts coming over and asking if she's okay. No, she's not fucking okay. She's losing blood and she wants everyone to leave her the fuck alone. She wants to go to bed. I don't even like to leave the house when I have a regular period, let alone a monster period from hell postpartum. Kristen Doty has done a lot for reality television. Let the woman go to bed. Every time I watch The Valley, I feel like I'm just screaming into a void, and that cannot be healthy. Anyway, Danny is getting shit-faced at dinner, and Lala is getting pissed the fuck off. She's heard this tiny douchebag with short man syndrome can't hold his alcohol. My words, not hers. I love an activated Lala. Janet and Jason are having a chat with Jesse and Lacey. And we find out that Lacey has auditioned for the Real Housewives of Orange County. She seems to think that's not relevant to the situation she has with Janet. I think it's very relevant. If you're trying to associate yourself with Tamra Judge, you're going to have to expect people to be sketched out by you. Lacey also mentions that David Hasselhoff and his wife have blocked her. If you're being judged by the Hoff, I also feel like that says a lot about you. I don't know what to make of Lacey. One minute I like her, and the next minute she's telling us that an old white guy who was famous in the 90s has blocked her on social media. She gives me very Kourtney Kardashian vibes. And honestly, something tells me she would take that as a compliment. Janet tries to make a pigging joke to Lacey. Lacey is not having a bar of it. She wants nothing to do with butt stuff. Back at the house, we see Janet being consumed by a giant massage chair. This may be an unpopular opinion, but I'm actually enjoying Janet this season. Luke is bitching and moaning and whining to Zach, and I want to black out. Zach basically says to Luke, she just needs your support, dickhead. Hello, wake up, Luke. The next morning, everyone is getting ready for the day. Danny looks like he's humping a cross trainer, and I feel physically sick. In the kitchen, Schwartz is telling Lala about the sex dream he had, which involved her. but he's acting all shy and demure about the details. This is one of the issues that I have with Schwartz. He'll go as far as to say that he had a sex dream with you, but acts all scandalized when you want to know the details. He's taking it to the grave, erasing it from his memory. But guess what? He's still fucking blabbing on about it. Come to think of it, Ciara actually does look a little bit like Lala, doesn't she? Everyone heads off to the zoo, and Danny is still moaning about having a baby and a wife. Lacey is wearing a Kathy Hilton lamp hat, which has nothing to do with anything, but I think it's worth a mention. She is trying to be a real housewife after all. They're getting a tour around the safari park, and I have to say that I can't look at a rhinoceros's behind without thinking about Ace Ventura squeezing his body out of one. That's peak comedy for me. That and Lloyd Bridges with a massive slice of watermelon in his mouth. Their guide mentions that elephants are pregnant for 2 years, and all of the ladies' vaginas seal up right then and there. Some of the people head off to go ziplining, and Zach and Lacey head off to the bar. Zach has purchased a rhino bag, which I actually love. I mean, it looks completely ridiculous, but I'm into it. They're all about to head back to their accommodation, and Nia announces that they're going to have a pageant later on, with the girls dressing up the guys in drag. Back at home, they're preparing for said pageant, and Brittany shows Zach his dress options. He says, they have a big and tall for women. Zach, you're gay. You've heard of drag queens, right? Also, believe it or not, women come in all different shapes and sizes. Danny is already yelling at Nia to get him ready. Schwartz is offended Michelle bought him a double XL. He's going with a classic Cinderella ball gown. Danny is being a total asshole as per usual. How Nia is holding herself back from clocking this irritating man in the face, I do not know. Lala appears like a horror movie character in the doorway because she can overhear Danny's BS. She's looking just like Michael Myers, the shape himself. Here's hoping Lala asks him if he wants to get popped. She comes in and tells Danny that he's out of line and that he's being disrespectful. Snaps for Lala calling out Danny's shitty behavior. We need someone to step in and help Nia eat a damn sandwich. Lindsay Hubbard isn't around to do it. Lala leaves and starts crying. She's triggered. Danny asks Nia not to let Lala talk to him like that. She says, I'm going to let her talk to you however she wants. Jesse tells us he heard the disrespectful way that Danny was speaking to his wife. He alludes to Darkside Danny from last season. But apparently he doesn't take it upon himself to stick up for Nia and say shut the fuck up to Danny. Danny wants his pageant name to be Mistriggered. If he were a smarter man, he would have come up with a punnier name. Perhaps like Misfire or Anita Reload. I don't know. I don't work for you, Danny. Fuck off. Danny is about to find out that Lala is not only triggered, she's fucking activated. She starts popping off on Danny. We end the episode with her telling him to knock it the fuck off. To be continued. Love it. A lot of people have been talking about how they don't like Lala and that she shouldn't be on the Valley. I've always been a fan. Maybe that says something about me. To me, she's a good addition to the Valley. There, I said it. Anyway, that's it for me this week. Thanks for listening. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.